Coming up on AgweekTV, how managing wetlands can help control flooding. The national head of the Farm Service Agency comes to North Dakota and answers questions about the problematic Art County program. And
more young adults are returning to the family farm. We'll bring you to one such farm in Minnesota.
Welcome to AgweekTV. I'm Shauna Olson. Farmland tiling and managing drainage can have a big impact on flooding. South Dakota Congresswoman Katrina Nordick is on a mission to get the National Resources Conservation Service to move faster on wetland determinations so growers can be more proactive in managing their land. Nordick was one of 5 congressmen in Moorhead this week, taking part in a House Ag Subcommittee listening session on how tiling and drain management can help Red River Basin flooding issues.
The time of leaving all the eggs in the basket sitting in the kitchen of NRCS isn't necessarily going to be the way it goes forward.
Congresswoman Katrina Nordick says enough is enough when it comes to the NRCS.
The problems that we have had in South Dakota is the determinations that come out of the NRCS office have taken months and years. That prevents them from being able to be proactive on putting in tiling on their ground, taking care of erosion issues they may face, and certainly it's not acceptable. What's interesting is that there's not a set standard for what needs to go into making the determination.
Nordick says because of this backlog, some growers missed an opportunity to tile their land.
And now we're looking at low commodity prices. Average farm income in South Dakota has dropped by $100,000 per farm this year because of the drop in commodity prices. Now these guys may not have money to invest in their acres to make them more productive. And that's the shame, is that we went through years where they had money they had to make decisions with. They could have used it to up their productivity, and they weren't able to do it because NRCS didn't do their job.
Nordick says now she and others are working to get the problem resolved.
We're hoping to address this with legislation to give NRCS third-party entities the costs are incurred by the producer to help do some of that determination work, but then give the producer an outlet to appeal through the court system. And we've had some big determinations made by the Supreme Court lately that codify and give us some credibility to doing that kind of a process.
Jeff Zimprich, state conservationist with NRCS, says they've been implementing practices to help with the backlog. He says the backlog started a few years ago due to high commodity prices.
Some of the things that we've been doing is providing a dedicated group of staff. A second thing we've been doing is trying to provide them a state off-site method, which we've implemented in the 4 states of the Prairie Pothole region, really working to try to address that. In addition to that, we've even done some what I'd call some creative things by working with a contract and through an opportunity we have to try to bring some staff in that can help us gather data.
Zimprich was one of 3 NRCS staff members at the listening session. Congressman Colin Peterson and Kevin Kramer were also there. With more than 25 million acres susceptible to flooding in the Red River Basin of the Dakotas and Minnesota, they want everyone to understand that water management, like drain tiling, can be an effective tool with many benefits.
It not only improves the farmland, it improves the water quality, but you can also manage this water better underground than you can above the ground. And that's not something that's understood very well. Just trying to show people that there are some other tools that we can use to try to manage these floodwaters and at the same time get some benefits for agriculture.
Water management. It's a great tool. We've taken some marginal farmland that has been a multi-peril claim, mostly either in prevent a plant or else getting some type of weather event where we lose that crop when it's real young like it is experiencing right now, and have turned it into some very highly productive farmland.
NDSU Extension Ag Engineer Tom Scherer has done research on water quality, sub-irrigation, and drainage. He says in the last 10 years, knowledge about water management has grown significantly. However, there's still a general public perception that tiling, along with nutrients like phosphorus and nitrogen, pollute drinking water through runoff into streams, rivers, and lakes.
Topography has an effect on it, but it's really about how the farmer manages their fertilizer. Yes, we get spikes in nitrogen depending on when they put it on, but it all depends on, some farmers will, as you well know, they put the whole batch on at one time, and others split apply, try to feed it when the plant's going to use it, and I think that has an effect on how much comes out of the tile.
Officials in Minnesota say the new 50-foot buffer law to filter out nitrates and chemicals before they hit streams and rivers has been very helpful. Newer systems also now have control structures that help stop runoff during heavy rain periods. This week's Crop Stop takes us to the Gorder family farm near Esteline in east central South Dakota. That's where Mickle Pates found Max Gorder first cutting alfalfa for their beef cows in a new tractor his family recently acquired. Max farms with his dad and brother-in-law on the farm that's been in their family for over 100 years. They grow corn, soybeans, and oats, and also have a cow-calf finishing operation. He says so far the alfalfa is looking very good.
It's been a good season. We got the crop in, no problems, got cows to pasture. So far it's been a halfway decent year.
They've had more than half an inch of rain since they finished chopping earlier this week. The Gorders are ahead of average for South Dakota. The National Ag Statistics Service reports alfalfa cutting is about 30% complete. It was only 8% done at this time last year. The soybean crop in southeastern North Dakota has gotten off to a good start. Craig Olson, president of the North Dakota Soybean Growers Association, says so far the crop's looking good, even though many growers started off in need of rain.
Well, I've heard a lot of people putting beans in the dry dirt, and some people have gotten the rains, and some people are probably wishing they had a little more. In my area, we're kind of in between there, haven't gotten many rains, and still could use a little more, but for the most part, I think the soybean crop has come along pretty well in the past couple weeks.
Olson farms near Colfax, North Dakota.
Coming up on AgweekTV, we'll visit with one young Minnesota woman who's returned to her family farm.
How did we become the region's largest independent seed company? By taking a very simple but powerful stand. We will sell no seed that we wouldn't be happy to plant on our own farm. Peterson Farm Seed. Stand tall.
Total Ag Industries is the leader in total control. Their custom-built fertilizer systems are the crown jewel of the Total Ag lineup. Total Ag systems come with a fully customizable fill system, and the variable rate hydraulic drive system works with John Deere displays for real-time feedback and complete fertilizer monitoring. Total Ag's field-tested design allows precise control and accurate application in your fields for better yields and more profit. Contact Total Ag by phone or visit totalag.com.
When you need electricity way out here, you better get yourself one mighty long extension cord. Or better yet, a portable Honda generator from Home of Economy. Rugged, dependable, and so quiet, you won't miss a sound. Pick one up today at the guaranteed lowest price, only at Home of Economy, where your dollar buys more.
Where do you go for the latest news in agriculture? Agweek Magazine. Reaching over 30,000 farmers and ranchers in North Dakota, Minnesota, South Dakota, and Montana. Agweek provides the most up-to-date information on the markets, the trends, and the people who make it all happen. We're your source for news, not fluff. Dependable, trusted, Agweek. Subscribe today by calling 1-800-811-2580.
Every day across America, excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, giving hope to millions of children who struggle with hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Together, we can solve child hunger. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Some people say that farm kids go away to college to get away from the farm. Katrina Nordick is one of them. She got a teaching degree and planned on a very different life. But as Jonathan Knutson found, the pull to return to her family dairy farm was too strong. So now she's back, working side by side with her dad and brother.
Farm kids used to go to college to get away from the family dairy operation. But today, I'm visiting with a new college graduate who's returned to her family dairy farm.
In high school, I never really had it in my mind at all that I wanted to farm or be a part of it. I kind of wanted to get out of it, and then just my first year of school, I just missed it a lot, and always wanted to have a big family, and kind of really wanted my kids to be raised on the farm too. That was a big important thing for me.
My dad was probably the most surprised of anyone when I called him up and asked him about it. I had told him, I have no intentions of kind of coming back up until, I had seen what the other side of things was like.
When they were young, I guess I thought maybe, hopefully they would, but as they got older, I really didn't expect to see any of them come back. Oh, I'm very proud of all my kids. We're pretty blessed the way our family has grown up and turned out.
The arrangement on this Minnesota farm wouldn't be a fit for everyone, but for this family, it works. For Ag Week, I'm Jonathan Knutson.
Katrina originally wanted to be an elementary school teacher, so she plans to do some substitute teaching in the fall. Her husband and brother's wife also have jobs off the farm. June is Dairy Month, and South Dakota's expanding dairy industry is showing off a little. The third annual Dairy Fest drew hundreds of people for dairy farm and processing plant tours, along with a gala and youth carnival. The dairy industry has been growing along the I-29 corridor in eastern South Dakota and western Minnesota. Those involved want the public to know about it, and they want young people to know there are opportunities for them in dairy.
We need to be advocates for the ag industry in general. The youth especially nowadays are farther removed from growing up on the farm, and they need to understand what isn't totally involved with the ag industry. And it's not only what happens on the farm, but there's numerous businesses that support those operations. Though there is opportunity for these young people when they decide what their future careers are, hopefully they pick agriculture.
Dairy Fest is organized by SDSU Extension and several dairy-related businesses. A fairly wet spring has been good news so far for most of South Dakota, according to the state's climatologist. But some areas are suffering. Dennis Tody says some areas in the southeastern corner of the state are excessively wet. They've had 20 inches of precip this year, 6 or 7 inches of rain in May alone. He says along the Nebraska border, it's been very wet since last fall.
We've had some fields that have been planted maybe when they shouldn't have been, and we have some fields that are likely to go unplanted because they're probably going to be too wet. And we know we've had some people shifting from corn to soybeans because they're trying to hope for things to dry out to get soybeans in. Overall, crop-wise, we're looking in pretty good shape, though.
Tody says conditions are relatively good in the middle and east central parts of the state, but there are some dry areas in the northeast. And he says rangeland in the Black Hills area has taken a hit from dryness and a mid-May freeze. Growing conditions are heating up. Your AgriWeather Outlook is up next. And later, the National Administrator of the Farm Service Agency visits the area. We'll hear what he has to say about the Ark County program.
It's hard not to take pride in what I do. I think everyone here sees the value in what they're creating. We work hard to make every window a true Minn Kota window.
We taught him how to hit a baseball, how to hit a receiver, the strike zone, the net. You taught him how to hit the upper corner. You even taught him how to hit the open man. But how much time have you spent teaching him what not to hit?
North Country Marketing is your weed and mosquito control headquarters, carrying the Easy Rider ATV mounted sprayer, pull-type ATV sprayers, 3-point sprayers with 6-foot to 30-foot booms, utility vehicle mounted sprayers, 48-inch pull-type weed rollers, and the new 72-inch model. We also carry walk-behind weed rollers and estate sprayers. North Country Marketing has the sprayers you need for this season, and we ship anywhere. Contact North Country Marketing toll-free or visit us at northcountrymarketing.biz.
Northland Outdoors is about so much more than the biggest fish or the hottest hunting spots. All across the Northland, there are amazing people with incredible stories to tell. We're going to find those stories and share them with everyone.
Join us each and every week as we explore the Northland and experience some of the most exciting outdoor adventures in the country right here in our own backyard. This is Northland Outdoors.
This is Dennis Beliski reminding you we do auctions and we do them well. You've built your operation with hard work, and when it's time to sell, all or part, you deserve the best. Details from repairs and preparation to promotion and settlements are not routine. Chances are you'll only do this once, so we'll tailor an auction just for you and get it done right. On-site at your farm or added to one of our highly successful Alaris Center auctions, we have the skill, reputation, and integrity to meet your needs with best-in-class commitment and quality service. Find us at resourceauction.com or call 701-757-4015.
What I believe sets us apart is the way our products are crafted. Every frame has to have a precision to it that you don't see in other brands. It's what makes it a true Minn Kota window.
Meteorologist John Wheeler here. Typically in the Northern Plains, Upper Midwest, Northern Corn Belt, the first half of the summer is better for moisture. The second half, evaporation rates tend to increase and the rain amounts tend to taper off overall. So when the early summer is a little dry, it's maybe not a good sign about the way the summer will finish. Now, true, we've had certainly some scattered storms. Nowhere is there a total absence of rain, but overall these have been hit and miss, and generally we haven't had those big soakers overall. It's also been warmer than average, which means evaporation rates are up a little bit so far this summer. So overall conditions are a little bit drier than average. Now, granted, it's early in June, maybe mid-June, but we're still looking at a situation that's not starting out exactly ideal. We had some hot weather in the Northern Plains this weekend, but over the course of early next week, we will see the jet stream relax a little bit. That'll take some of the heat away. And then it looks like it may build back up again. So we will be in and out of warm to hot weather, it looks like, all week long. Late in the week, I expect a little bulge in the jet stream about Thursday, Friday. That could be a storm system that might bring a chance for some widespread storms to some part of the Dakotas, Minnesota, maybe down into northern Iowa, but it remains to be seen exactly where that would turn out to be. It bears watching, though. And overall, I do not expect the jet stream to build into a massive high-pressure ridge the way it did back in the spring, summer of 1988. That was a serious drop. But I do expect it to be generally a little further north than average, and generally our temperatures across the country are going to be a bit warmer than average. As far as precipitation goes this week, the west is looking pretty dry, except for mountaintop storms. I don't see a lot of moisture out there. Pacific Northwest will get its rain. In the Great Plains, Upper Midwest, Northern Corn Belt, there will be some areas of rain, probably a little better further south, but these will continue to be not overall above average, just sort of typical June rains, hit and miss, and generally a little lighter than average. Also, we're going to be combating warm temperatures. It will be above average over the United States, down south, Midwest, middle half of the country, all 90s. A lot of 80s up into southern Canada, North Dakota, Minnesota. Averages are more like 70s and 80s. So this is above average. The second week, June 19th through 25th, the west is still looking dry. That's typical. Pacific Northwest showers may spill over into western Canada. That would be good news up there, Alberta, Saskatchewan, to get a little moisture. And I think there'll be a couple of rounds of significant rains through some part of the northern Corn Belt. Not exactly sure where this would be, but it does bear watching. But overall, moisture is not probably going to be able to keep up with the warm temperatures throughout most of the Corn Belt Northern Plains because it's still going to be warm. A lot of 90s through the high plains, a lot of 80s everywhere else. That's all above average. So over the next couple of weeks, we're talking warmer than average weather, hit and miss storms, and rainfall not quite keeping up with evaporation.
Commitment. You need it to succeed on the farm. It's total dedication to the land, family, and community. It's more than a way to make a living. It's a way of life. You've had it since the first time you ran your hands through the soil, helped bale hay, or rode along in the combine. Your commitment, it's as strong as your family's trust, as honest as each long day you put in, and as pure as the opportunity that comes with every tomorrow. It's how we build our bins, with proven design, superior structural integrity, a lifetime warranty, and a promise to stand with you, no matter what storms come your way. The harvest will always be protected, so you can sell when it's right for you, your family, and your farm. Commitment. It's why we can say, there's nothing standard about superior.
You make me wear my bike helmet. You taught me never to run with scissors. And to follow the swimming rules. You tell me to stay away from drugs. To always buckle my seatbelt.
So why do you keep a loaded gun in your drawer?
How safe is that?
You asked them to follow some safety rules. Now they're asking you. In fact, they're counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Remember, always lock it up. Visit ncpc.org.
Where do you go for the latest news in agriculture? Agweek Magazine. Reaching over 30,000 farmers and ranchers in North Dakota, Minnesota, South Dakota, and Montana. Agweek provides the most up-to-date information on the markets, the trends, and the people who make it all happen. We're your source for news, not fluff. Dependable, trusted, Agweek. Subscribe today by calling 1-800-811-2580.
We believe in a fair and balanced approach to state and federal regulation. Proposed changes to OSHA's anhydrous ammonia policy, EPA's Waters of the U.S., the Clean Air Act, and endangered species are a few examples of what we are facing. The one-size approach doesn't work for North Dakota. Agriculture Commissioner Doug Goring wants to work with you to protect our state. Go to our website to see the latest issues that affect not only agriculture today, but for future generations.
AgweekTV, sponsored by Peterson Farm Seed.
The head of the Farm Service Agency says he sees no fix for a farm program farmers claim shortchanged them tens of thousands of dollars for their 2014 crops. Val Dulcini visited North Dakota recently, looking at how his agency's programs are working and answering questions about programs and policies. Farmers in Logan, Lemoore, and Steele counties in North Dakota say they were underpaid for crop losses under the 2014 Arc County program. The FSA says not enough growers returned NASS surveys to trigger accurate payments. Dulcini says overall the program was successful, paying out about $4 billion nationwide.
I don't think we're going to relook at the 2014 crop year payments. That would really require that I reopen the entire 2014 payments across the country. I can't focus simply on one or two or more counties. I've got to do it for everyone if I'm going to do it for one.
North and South Dakota are among the states with the lowest NASS response rates. Aaron Crowder, FSA Director for North Dakota, was traveling with Dulcini, and he says there are financial consequences for failing to fill out NASS surveys, but they are voluntary.
Yes, I can understand and I sympathize a lot with those producers, but that sent their benchmark really high for next year. And over the life of the Farm Bill, this is all going to average out, and we're confident of that.
North Dakota's Senator John Hoeven has offered an amendment to the USDA appropriation that would provide a pilot program for calculating the 2016 crop year payments. Talk of environmentally sustainable farm production and policies dominated the annual South Dakota Governor's Ag Summit. South Dakota Governor Dennis Dugard says he understands the public's concerns about preserving natural resources and the size of animal operations. But he says it's possible for agriculture, livestock production, and clean air and water to coexist.
As agriculture adapts to more efficiencies and scales of economy, we need to acknowledge that that is the way production agriculture can best serve the consumer for the lowest cost. At the same time, we need to be sure that those larger scale facilities give a nod to and attention to air and water quality.
Iowa's Ag Secretary Bill Nordick also spoke at the event. He talked about Iowa's efforts to encourage farmers to voluntarily become more environmentally friendly. You don't have to be a farmer to enjoy breakfast on the farm at least once a year. That story coming up next.
How did we become the region's largest independent seed company? By taking a very simple but powerful stand. We will sell no seed that we wouldn't be happy to plant on our own farm. Peterson Farm Seed. Stand tall.
It's time to demand more. With Micro Essentials, you get more from every acre. Through our fusion technology, only Micro Essentials combines 4 vital nutrients into one powerful granule, ensuring uniform nutrient distribution and increased nutrient uptake. The innovation behind our fusion technology means you'll grow stronger, healthier plants. Micro Essentials. Get more from every acre.
Northland Outdoors is about so much more than the biggest fish or the hottest hunting spots. All across the Northland, there are amazing people with incredible stories to tell. We're going to find those stories and share them with everyone.
Join us each and every week as we explore the Northland and experience some of the most exciting outdoor adventures in the country right here in our own backyard. This is Northland Outdoors.
North Dakota soybean farmers put food on tables all over the world, including their own. That's why it's important that we produce healthy, safe, affordable food. It's also important that we keep up with demand. Today's farmer feeds 155 people per year. Compare that to a farmer only 2 generations ago who produced enough for just 26. Most North Dakota farms are still family-owned and operated because our care of the land that feeds the world today is our children's legacy for tomorrow.
Hundreds showed up to grab some great food and see farm animals and tractors up close. It was the annual Breakfast on the Farm near Hawley, Minnesota. It's part of the community's Rodeo Fest. It was a cool, windy day, but that didn't stop people from enjoying the fun. Breakfast on the Farm featured pancakes and sausage, tractor shows, kiddie rides, and more. It was held on the Dave Herbertson family farm. The week consists of several events and ends with the PRCA Barnes Rodeo at the Hawley Rodeo Grounds. Thanks for watching this week's edition of AgweekTV. Remember, for all your ag news, go to agweek.com. We'll see you next week.